Hi, welcome back to the Jac and Glen channel. I'm Jackie.
And I'm her husband, Glenn.
He's my husband, Glenn.
Hey, before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell notification so you miss any of our reviews. Today we're reviewing Married at First Sight. Where Are They Now? Boston. Finally putting a wrap on this season. This is the last, I promise you, this will be the last video that we do on the Boston season. They're done. It's over. But we wanted to just talk about Where Are They Now? The show that came on this past Wednesday night. Where Are They Now? Married at First Sight. I'm ready for San Diego to take place, but we had to close some things out here with this Boston cast. There were some interesting things that came out from this cast and from Where Are They Now? So, where do you want to start?
Let's start. Let's just go ahead and get Lindsay and Mark out the way.
Yeah, let's get Lindsay and Mark out the way. All right, so we get Lindsay. Lindsay returns from California.
She says it's a twofold visit.
Yeah, twofold visit.
She's coming to see her dad, and she's coming to sign divorce papers with Mark.
Coming to sign divorce papers with Mark. Dad asked her, she had dinner with her dad. Dad asked her how things were going with her and Mark. Have they talked? Have they spoken with each other? She really haven't spoken to Mark, and she's enjoying California. And, she's just here to do what she need to do to close this chapter of her life.
Yeah. Her dad really kind of was like, well, you're a handful. And so basically, Mark just couldn't handle you. He wasn't your person, and, just go from here. She was like, after decision day, with everything happened with the reunion too, it was like, how her and Mark were. She didn't know how she would feel about seeing him. Mark said the same thing. When it came to signing divorce papers, they weren't sure how it would go when they saw each other.
But that's her MO, though. She does stuff, and then she leaves or does stuff, and then hopefully people come back to her. The decision day was good for her. I mean, not in that aspect, but when I say good, because she didn't have to travel back to Boston with everybody else. She went
after the reunion.
After reunion. So she left and did her own thing, She moved in California. She is in California. So she didn't really have to face any of these people. Unlike, if you was going back to Boston, you may see them around town. So Lindsay, jabbed, dodged, and ran. And so now, she's hoping that California gives her something to that experiment. The experiment didn't give her, which is maybe a husband, a quality relationship, some love, some respect, whatever the case may be. That's what she wants.
Right. And so we see them come together at the attorney's office to sign divorce papers.
Yeah.
And they were actually quite pleasant when they saw each other. They greeted each other. I was surprised.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you tell Mark was still a little bit nervous. He didn't know what Lindsay he was gonna get, right? He didn't know if this was the Lindsay where I need to hold everything to the chest, stay peaceful, or was it gonna be the Lindsay that we saw, which was the kind, collective, had her stuff together. Maybe because her attorney was there, but they was willing and able to sign papers, which was always funny because to me it would be a simple divorce, right? I mean, I know each state has something different. You have to wait.
No property to split.
No property split. No
to
kids.
Figure out. No alimony.
None of that stuff because you sign a prenup beforehand anyway. So all this is very circumstantial. They're just going through signing your name on the dotted line. No contest, I would think, would be any contest to the divorce. You just got to wait your time in Boston, whatever it is, and get your divorce done.
It's the first time we've seen this.
Yeah, it's the first time we actually see this.
First time we've seen this.
If y'all saw it in another episode, let me know. But I think this is the first one we actually see the people sign the papers and get this thing out the way.
Yeah, first time we've seen it. I'm curious to know what the time frame is for Boston or Massachusetts. I know how it is in Virginia.
Yeah.
Like, there's no separation in Virginia and then divorce. It's got to be separated. For a year, and once you sign your divorce, that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
So, I'm curious.
Lindsay she did apologize. She finally apologized for the bowling alley incident.
Because what she said was, she wasn't aware, of course, the cameras were rolling. It wasn't to blast him. She was like, it was just me going in the bathroom just to be biatch about you. I was like just complaining, just venting. And she said, I did feel bad. I was actually embarrassed to know that you had seen that, to see you see it on a reunion. Like,
yo, but who wouldn't? I mean, to me, just me. I mean, I've been on some, TV, whatever. No cameras, right? I'm always mindful of microphones and cameras and all this other stuff that's going on. I'm mindful. Like, don't say nothing. Shut your mouth. Don't be quiet. Wait till the bad boy's off. Turn the mic off and then move.
But not only that, we've talked about this before in our review and the panel review. Like, everybody, I'm sure, gripes about their spouse.
Yeah.
But most people don't, like, run them down like that. Like, I probably would have griped about you, but, like, the stuff she said, like, good gosh.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? You complain about your spouse, but it says a lot when you say what you say out of their presence. It's like, gosh, do you even like them for real?
She felt that thing, and she meant that.
With her whole
She meant that with her whole heart. With her whole heart. A real quick funny story. You know the funniest live mic story that I have?
What's that?
Remember we was at that church, and the pastor had his mic on, and he told the deacon,
he said, get the people money.
just go out there and go get the people money. He said, just go out there and go get the people's money.
I was like, wow.
I'm like, yo, he just came off. He just came off the air. I think I put my money back in my pocket that day.
No.
I don't think, look, wrong spirit. He just didn't get it. I'm sorry. Wrong
that was
spirit.
funny. I thought you was going to say something else.
No.
Not a live mic story, but how, you talk about your spouse. Like, Remember that time, I'm sharing. Remember that time I was getting groceries out the car? And I was talking to my sister, right? And I was like, Glenn, I got groceries in the car. Come get the groceries, right? So I'm in the car getting the groceries. And I'm like, dang, Glenn ain't came out here yet. He know I asked him to come get these groceries. And I turn around and he's behind me. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, see?
But see, I didn't dog him. I don't dog my spouse. But I thought it was so funny. I made a post of me and my sister were dying laughing. I was like, girl, he was behind me. I was just talking trash.
Being that ninja.
I was talking trash.
I'm being that real ninja. Not the ninja that you fake, but I'm being that walk up on you ninja.
I was talking cash trash. But not like Lindsay, but it was good that she apologized. And they actually walked away with it like, if we could be cordial, be friendly. And it actually both were like, after we signed the papers, it was like a weight lifted off us. And Lindsay said, now that we don't have this marriage thing, maybe we can get along. Because remember at the reunion, she was like, I have no need for him. I don't want to see. I don't want him in my life whatsoever. I don't need him in my life. It's like, I don't even know who he is. So I was like, wow, this was different.
Yeah, it was different. So, I mean, Lindsay and Mark walked away. Everything was fine there. So they had their good situation. Let's get with my man right here. We see Chris. Chris catches up with, first of all, Chris invites Steve over, the engineer, right? Mark invites Steve over, the engineer, to come fix his cat litter box. I want to think what it was.
Yeah, it's a special kind of litter box.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite working.
It wasn't quite working. So then Chris comes over, and so they all catch up. And Chris drops the bombshell on all of them that he's been dating somebody from another season.
Well, talking to
someone from another season. He find out that he's talking to Olivia from New Orleans, which, everybody liked Olivia from New Orleans because she dated Brett, who people thought was a butt. But Brett had his stuff together. I like Brett. I thought Brett was all right. I really did. I thought Brett was okay. But nonetheless, he said that he's flying he's flying Olivia up, right? He's flying Olivia up to Boston, and it's the first time he's ever done something like that, so they can spend time together. They've spoken a lot on the internet, spoken a lot on Instagram, all the different situations, and so he's flying her up so they can be together.
And to have an actual date, and then also he asked her something in particular, but they did talk about the Alyssa thing and how the reunion went, and she did apologize, but he wasn't really sure she was being genuine. It was just kind of like, I'm sorry I hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
Not I'm sorry I said what I said, but I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. I'm sorry you heard what I said. Right. So he was like, I'm not sure if it was genuine. And
you had Steve. Steve talked about, he still trying to convince Noy to move in with him. Trying to get Noy to come, look, I need you to be here full time. Not part-time, not halfway love. We want to do these 3 babies. We need to be together like whole time. So he talked about that. We'll get to that a little bit later. And then he talks about how Mark, I think somebody's friend. Who friend was it?
Oh, Steve was like, now that you're doing a divorce from Lindsay, how do you feel about getting back on the dating scene?
Yeah.
Mark was like, I'm not really sure how I feel, but Steve was like, look, my sister has a friend, a former coworker, I think it was a former coworker, and I think she'd be really good for you. I could fix it up for you. You just take her out, see how it works. And Mark reluctantly was like, "Yeah, okay, I'll think about it, whatever."
What was funny about that though? I think her name was Crystal. And what's funny, we'll find out. I'm gonna skip ahead. He meets Elijah one at the store. Elijah one hooks him up to dress him up a little bit. Right? Elijah one gets him all dressed for the occasion, styling him for the occasion. They talk about Mark said I haven't really been on the dating scene. I really haven't dated in a long time since this whole experience. And but Elijah one hooks him up, and Mark looks pretty chill. Mm-hmm. Pretty chill. Mm-hmm. So he ended up going out with Crystal, and I will stay there.
Oh, the one thing about that is we know from the reunion that Mark said he's lost 40 pounds.
Yeah, he lost 40 pounds.
And so, he's trying on clothes, and Elijah was like, man, you looking slimmer than me. You looking better than me in here, Wow. But they picked up some nice pieces. Nice
pieces there. And, Mark and Crystal have a nice day. He wasn't awkward with her. It was kind of cool. He felt good to be in a relationship where he didn't have to argue, where he didn't have to fight.
Not a relationship.
I mean, not a relationship. Sorry.
In a place.
On a date with somebody. He didn't have to argue, fight. So he was pretty cool.
And they walked out of the date holding hands. I thought that was different for a first date, but not really, because he just did Married at First Sight. So kind of expected him to go a little faster with that, but.
Hey,
they had a nice date, and they're gonna look forward to seeing each other again.
Maybe Mark could move at his own pace now.
Mm-hmm. No, Steve, that was a smart move, Steve.
Yeah, Steve hooked him up. And best way to get yourself out of the dump is take some more shots. He took more shots. I'm not mad. Steve hooked him up, right? Steve was a boy. Let's go to. We had the. I know we jumping. We had the girls who meet up. Alyssa, Jasmina, and Katina meet up. I still think this friendship is a little. It's weird.
I just be like trying to figure out, does Alyssa not have any friends? I just feel like she latched onto them. I don't know. It seemed kind of set up, but if they are friends, which is cool, it just seemed kind of fast and just.
I'm gonna say this: this whole Married at First Sight.
Where are they now? Yeah,
I believe all of this was a setup. I think the whole show was a setup. So we're gonna review it as if it wasn't a setup, but in my opinion, this whole thing was set up. It was just too many coincidences.
Yeah.
The whole Lindsay just happened to be in town the weekend. Elijah, what is the other one? Olivia happened to come in on that weekend.
I don't think
Ryan was getting ready to come in on that week. It was just too many things that were coincidence that it was all set up. This whole 4, 5, 6 days, whatever, was set up.
You just talk about them coming in. I'm like, I know some people feel like it was a setup that Chris would be talking to Olivia, but I mean, I guess you figure that's their vibe, So I'm on Married at First Sight.
The whole circle.
And I'm sure he watched it before. We do know Alyssa watched it before. She watched the season with Ryan. So,
she was like, that's the guy she wanted to be with.
Right.
That's the guy. I wish they would have matched me up with a guy like Ryan.
Right. So
I wish they would have hooked me up with somebody like Ryan. I like Ryan. The cowboy boots. We got a lot of things in common. And we talk this. And
so I think being on the show themselves gave them an extra boost of confidence to reach. Because, if I wasn't on the show, I might not reach out to somebody that was on TV. But, hey, we got that in common. So I'm going to reach out to them.
You got a whole small circle. So, we talked about it. So Alyssa reached out to Ryan. Her and Ryan and doing a little, they've been conversing a lot.
And she shares that with Katina and Jasmine.
That her and Ryan, that she was talking to Ryan. So she shares that and said she's considering, let's all get together. And we haven't been together since the reunion or what case. So let's go up to, I can't remember the place that was going.
Cape Cod.
Yeah, let's go to Cape Cod and let's go get together. And we can all I'll invite Ryan and all this. You want to invite the guys? Sure.
Yeah, you think I should invite Ryan?
Yeah.
So he can come for a trip up here to Boston. We can meet and, maybe I'll ask him to go on a little getaway.
And then they invite the guys and they brought up Lindsay. you want to think she was right, Lindsay? Jasmine like, I think I blocked her. She blocked me, so I don't know. Katina said, I'll tell Lindsay. I heard she's in Boston anyway, so I guess Katina keeps up with her. You know, again, signed divorce papers. So they talk about that. Having a good time with Ryan. So she want to invite Ryan up. Jasmine is still trying to figure out what her and Michael's going to do, how their relationship is. She was like, you know, after the reunion, Michael just stopped talking to her.
Yeah, and she's not really sure why.
Really?
She's not really sure
You
why.
done lied on TV, made this man look bad, and he just stopped talking. He shut down. He said that when he was talking to Jephthah
That's
and
what I was gonna say,
Elijah
yeah.
on. He said, look, I just stopped. I stopped trying to defend myself. I tried to stop explaining myself.
Because what he said was, when Jasmina talked about what happened after decision day, she made it sound like she did all this trying and I didn't do anything. And he said, the more she talked, the more I was like, you know, I'm mad, but I'm like, no, you know what? I'm just not going to say nothing. He said, so I just stopped talking. He was like, and I agree with him, you know, she was like, he came over once. Okay, that's something. We find out he did something with Mr. Feeney, her dog.
Yeah.
Why does that not count? You know,
She just wouldn't give him credit for anything. And so he was like, yo, I just was done. I checked out.
yeah.
He was like, he just done with it. So that's, you know, and I like the fact, I love the Jephthah, Elijah one, and Michael conversation. Because you saw three black men who are at different parts of their life have a conversation. I mean, Jephthah was telling telling Elijah one, bro, you got to keep going. Me and Shanice, we wasn't there, but we kept going, and we kept going.
Know Jephthah's Mr. Stranger Danger. He was on Stranger Danger the whole time.
Yeah.
During that 8 weeks, he was like, you're a stranger, I don't know you. You're a stranger, I don't know you. I don't know you.
Yeah.
And he might have still been like it a little bit after decision day, except for the fact that she had the little baby shoes, so he didn't have no choice.
And so Elijah one was his thing, him and Katina's biggest thing, they spend too much time together. So they can try to spin some. And Jephthah said, if that's y'all biggest issue, we good, bro.
You won't have no worries.
You ain't got no worries. Y'all biggest issue trying to find some other time to spend with, you know, friends and family. That's not a problem. And, you know, and just told Michael that he needs to have one more conversation with Jasmina. They need to have one closing conversation.
Yeah, to figure out what kind of happened. The one thing I do want to bring out here is what we heard anyway when this season started, that Jephthah knew Olajuwon, and it was kind of because of Jephthah that Olajuwon ended up on the show. But we find out that Jephthah and Olajuwon played football together.
Right, and Olajuwon was like the big brother.
Did play football, see?
And Olajuwon was like the big brother. So.
Yes. That's his friend and his teammate.
So we get to Noy and Steve, and they talk about living the situation, and they start working on home projects and getting things together. And Steve wants to do this just to make Noy feel comfortable about moving in with him. He really wants her to move in and to be with her and to be in the house. I mean, it's been months.
Corrections, but it's not a house.
Apartment, sorry.
It's an apartment, which threw me because one of the projects they were doing to try to bring her into the apartment, like they're putting up a backsplash in an apartment.
Maybe this apartment is he can own it afterwards. There's some apartments you can own.
I mean, that's not the definition of an apartment. That's more like a condo, a townhouse, whatever. But then I was thinking maybe it's an apartment like Mark's family apartment.
Yeah.
Where it's a house and you have this part of the house, like, a duplex or whatever. Because I was like, I don't know about putting no backsplash up in no apartment. I think pretty much, I don't think you can make changes like that.
Yeah, I ain't think so neither, but I just chalked it up to this different type of apartment. Because when I lived in my apartment, I wasn't making no changes to that bad boy. You couldn't even put holes in the walls.
Because if you paint it, you're going to have to cover it up before you leave.
Yeah, you couldn't put holes in the walls and all this stuff. So he might own it. Steve, he might own the building. I don't know. you never know with that dude, right? So he believes this is the solution to get them together. Steve says his brother and
Let me stop you right there, though. Because, again, here's this completely move-in conversation. He was like, do you think you might be able to whittle down the time? Because she's thinking in 6 months she'll be able to move in completely with him. He's like hoping this will help her whittle down the time. She was like, I'm not sure. I'm still not sure yet. And then, they talk about, again, with the kids thing. And so Steve had the brilliant idea to
watch his brother's kids.
Yes.
And
he's got 3.
And that's why I say miraculously or magically, whatever you want to call it, production-wise. Ironically, They have 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
3 different age groups.
And we know that Noy is bent on having 3 kids.
And guess what? Knowing Steve with those 3 kids was pulling their hair out. Overwhelmed. I think they made some kind of glue, some putty type stuff. They worked on craft. No, they made bath bombs. Then they created some pizza. And then they had Noisy came out and they had a dance party.
I think they was going to lose. When they was making the bath bomb, like, because it was getting on the floor and on the table. So it was like, no, put it in here. Put it in here. They did a little fashion show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She got overwhelmed. It's a lot to have 3 kids. And that's with both people being there. Right? Can you imagine if you living over here and he's living over there? It was, So it was fun to see them interact. It was fun to see them handle the kids. Knowing Steve was going to be fine. It was good, a good conversation. I mean, a good TV. It's good TV there.
And in the end, Noy said, I might be willing to change my mind on the 3 kids. Mm-hmm. After this experience, yeah.
So, yeah, if you're gonna do it, you want to do it back to back to back to back. You don't want to wait. I'm just back to back to back. I think you do, because when they get older, they're leaving back to back to back.
But what you mean by back to back? I'm thinking 2 or 3 years. No, I'm thinking 2 or 3 years in between. Yeah, at least 2 years.
It didn't work for us.
No, huh? Because it ain't no 2 years in between. It's like a year and a half.
Yeah, but then
between the first 2,
and then 8,
which meant but that wasn't on purpose, not 8, but
yeah,
that's for another video.
That's another video. Let me see Chris and Olivia having a little little date in the little igloo, which I thought was pretty good.
He's his first time he's ever flown somebody.
Yeah,
and Olivia's ever flown somewhere to have a first date. Like from a totally different state.
That's baller status.
You know what I'm saying?
That's baller status. When you fly somebody from another state to come meet with you, that's baller status.
So, yeah, I think it was cute what you said, too. Whatever restaurant they went to, they had outside igloos.
Yeah.
Outside heated igloos, personal for them, that they could go in and, spend time with each other and, get their meal served to them.
Yeah, they talked about their experiences on their seasons of Married at First Sight. I thought it was pretty good there. They seemed pretty happy. He invited her on a trip.
I gotta say this. The one thing, too, they talked about with their marriages on the different seasons. Because Chris brought up the fact that, okay, so, yeah, you being on New Orleans, that's when the pandemic hit. So they had a longer time.
Yeah.
And Olivia was like, now you think this season went on forever? Theirs was forever. And we didn't see all of it. Mm-hmm. Because it was nobody there to film because they were locked down. And she was like, yeah, it was like the season that would never end.
And I'm with somebody I don't want to be with.
That was the worst part.
I'm with somebody I don't want to be with.
She was like, it was the longest. Yeah, I would.
And so,
do not recommend.
Chris invited her, but she said she would only attend if it's okay with Alyssa.
Yeah, to the weekend getaway.
Weekend getaway, yes.
With everybody there. She was like, okay, I just don't want it to be awkward with me being there and, her being there. And, of course, it wouldn't be awkward because of Alyssa and Chris because there's nothing there. It's just like, Yeah. Maybe even with her being mean to you or, I don't want none of that. So.
No issues. Then we see Alyssa and Ryan meet up. And she talks about this whole Lindsay situation.
Well, no, first they had...
Oh, they had a little bowling date. Yes,
they had a nice little bowling date.
Yes.
And they just really had a good time. So he flew from out of town to see her. One thing I want to say with Alyssa, you mentioned this before, her thing with Ryan was, she was like, he's what I be looking for. And again, just like when... on the reunion, they said what would be a good guy for Alyssa, and it was just like a cowboy. Everything Alyssa said was he likes to hunt and do guns, and he wears cowboy boots, and everything she described was physical.
Only thing she didn't say is who they voted for.
Everything she described was physical. So I was like, again, you first off, you didn't like Chris because you didn't like the way he looked. Mm-hmm. Because guess what? Cowboys can be chauvinistic. Mm-hmm. They can be condescending. Just because he's a cow, they can be rude because they could be a ishy car salesman that sells houses.
But they sell cows.
But or he could be a real estate agent.
A real estate agent.
A Texas cowboy real estate agent. Mm-hmm. You know, so I was like,
we all watch Dallas. Look at JR.
Of course she liked Ryan. I was like,
Ryan a cool dude. I mean, from what I've seen, I don't know him personally. From what I've seen, Ryan.
But he still comes off like the personality, kind of like a piece of notebook paper. Just kind of.
I think that's the way they.
But I mean he seems pretty, but his face is kind of plain. He doesn't really have a lot of expression in his face.
But like I told you, Ryan's like, you know what? Y'all not gonna mess up my job on Married at First Sight. I ain't gonna show my butt on Married at First Sight.
Well, not even show your butt, but just like when he talks, it's just like, are you excited? I can't tell.
Oh, you can tell he's excited. He's just surveying the land. So she asked Ryan, would he mind coming up to Cape? And he was eager. He was ready to accept that bad boy. He was like, yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. Let's go. Now, I'm going to get to the part where I was talking about. Mm-hmm. They meet up again before the trip. And somehow, somebody was dry snitching. Maybe I fell asleep with that part. I missed it. I don't know who was dry snitching.
They didn't say.
But they said one of them, the men was talking, and Alyssa found out that Ryan had been talking to Lindsay. That they have a platonic relationship. Not platonic relationship.
Well, yeah, but how could you be talking to my mortal enemy? Basically, is what she said.
Yeah, how you can talk to my enemy?
She was like, I don't care. You could be friends with her, but like, why would you not give me a heads up when you know she talks bad about me? Mm-hmm. One of the guys said they've literally seen you on FaceTime, and he was like, I talked to her on Instagram. Video chatting with. I don't have her number. I don't. And she was like, well, they said, that's your story. I know what I was told, which doesn't mean that's the right story. And I was like, if Ryan pulls his sleeves up one more time without actually pulling them up, he just kept grabbing his arm.
That was his way not to go off, y'all. I mean, that was his comment making like, this wench right here, I am giving her opportunity. Nobody likes her and has no chance. And I'm sitting here being nice, trying to form a relationship with her, and she's getting me on something that I ain't do. It was a freaking dating app. Now it's Instagram. I can't talk to nobody. I'm just done.
Yeah.
That's the way he may not, that's in my mind, I'm just done.
Yeah, she was like, you didn't say anything to me. You could have at least told me that you and Lindsay were friends. And he was like, I'm not friends with her. Like, I've talked to her.
Like,
why can't I talk to somebody?
We're in a unique fraternity, right, of Married at First Sight people. I'm sure everybody from Married at First Sight had at least had a conversation with somebody once, whether it's on social media, whether on Instagram, whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. But again, Alyssa was taken back, and she just basically told Ryan, I don't want you to come this weekend.
And she was like, and I'm done talking. I'm going to walk away now.
She acted like a real...
And she left her whole drink.
She acted like a real beer. But again, I'm sure Ryan gave her a piece of his... I'm sure he said something, because the way they made it look, Ryan, like he just said they was quiet.
Man, when the producer came over, was like, you good? He was like, I don't have nothing to do with their drama. They don't like each other. Why are you making... I don't have nothing to do with that. Yeah. I can talk to whoever I want to talk to, but I wasn't talking to her like that. Mm-hmm. And you ain't my girlfriend. Basically.
Yeah, you're my girl. I mean, we're just chilling, We're just chilling together. So, I don't know. It's too much to me. She just missed out on her cowboy. Hope she found another one who does not watch Married at First Sight.
Or something.
Because she crazy. Well, I didn't say crazy. That's rude. She ain't rapped. Something right.
I feel like she cut it too fast.
Yeah.
Over that, like.
Yeah, all the screws are not tight enough.
Yeah, and Ryan was just like, yeah, I'm not doing this.
Ryan's like, cool, man. I got a flight to Boston. I can go back home. Let's go. Let's do it. Couples meet up. They're going to Cape Cod. Elijah Wan, Noe, Katina, and Steve all stop on their way up there and start drinking. They stop on their way up there. Elijah Wan and Katina agree that they're gonna start taking one night of the week to make plans for their family and friends, and they're gonna spend all that much time with each other. I kind of differ with it. I think when you're a newlywed, you're supposed to spend as much time. When your first year, I think you spend as much time together as much possible. whether it's holidays, whether it's Christmas, what it is, you spend time with you and your spouse. I think we did that. I don't think we spent time with that much family our first year.
Yeah,
I can't remember. It's been 20 years ago. But I mean, we spent a lot of time with each other. So I think you do that to find out what you are, creating your own family. It's your own niche, but you also don't want to lose yourself, and that's what Katina's issue was. I don't want to lose myself, so I need to find some time with my family and friends, and we're gonna do it one night out of the week. Noi talks about moving in with Steve, and she decided that she's gonna
cut the time frame back. She just want to do it within the next 3 months.
Yeah, so
he was like, "Oh wow, you changed your mind? Okay."
Yeah. So she was pretty good. They get to the house, and everybody's kicking it. Lindsay's not there yet, but everybody's having a good time. Everybody's enjoying themselves. Jasmina pulls Michael aside, and they have their conversation. Did it go anywhere? No. Was it a waste of TV time? Yes. Absolutely waste of TV time because they both couldn't agree. Same thing you saw in a reunion. I did give you time. I was putting forth an effort. No, you wasn't. This wasn't an effort that was going forth. Somebody was doing something. And just like the expert said, both of y'all perceived it two different ways. And so guess what? Y'all can't be together.
Yeah, and Michael shared, you made it look like I wasn't doing anything. And she was like, well, what did you do, Michael? I did try, I was there. Oh, so you want me to call you doing something because you was there with me with Feeney when I had to take him to the little doggy hospital or whatever. And I don't see why that doesn't count.
Right.
That's me saying that. Why does that not count?
It does count, man. Olivia sitting there looking like she's out of place. Like, why am I even? She's here with Chris, but, she interacted a little bit. But it's like, you're sitting there.
Yeah. You just said that like she was in their conversation.
She was in their conversation. But I'm saying...
You mixing stuff. Yeah.
But I'm going back, when she was all in the group, she just seemed like she was just there. It wasn't really her thing. She was the, 8th, 9th, 10th, whatever will.
Uh-huh. But at least she didn't feel like completely uncomfortable, with Alyssa being around. And as a matter of fact, Alyssa pulled Chris aside and was like, can I talk to you for a minute? And she said something that I was like, who cares? When she was like, I'm glad to see you're happy with Olivia. Looks like, she seems pretty cool. That's good. I'm happy that I'm happy that you moved on. Like, he was not stuck on you.
Girl,
he moved on.
He moved on on the 11th day.
And he does not need you to say, oh, that's nice.
He don't need your approval. He could care less. He don't need your approval.
He could care less. But she did actually give him what he felt like was a genuine apology for her behavior, how she acted, how she treated him, how she didn't give him a chance. And he was like, this time I actually felt like, she meant it. And so that was good for them.
She saw it on TV. She got all the hate mail in her Instagram and her Twitter and all this other stuff. But I'm really a good person.
Which, by the way, she had on her hoodie.
Look.
She had a zip-up hoodie on that said, I'm a good person.
I am not mad at her for trying to flip.
Parlay that
I ain't mad at her for parlaying that into some money. She tried to flip it, take your 15 minutes of fame and get as much money you can get, boo. Flip that. If you want a t-shirt, I don't know if they're out yet, whatever, a sweatshirt, but she gonna flip that. And y'all gonna buy it.
I wish I would.
I wouldn't. But somebody gonna buy it. Mm-hmm. Because they're a good person just like her. Hey, she flipping it. She flipping it. Lindsay does show up. Lindsay shows up, and everybody agrees.
And a fur coat, which I want to add. She had a fur coat on when she went to sign the divorce papers with Mark. She had a fur coat on this time.
Seemed like Lindsay flossing a little bit. Maybe she's making a little bit of money out in L.A. In California. I ain't say that's not L.A. Mm-mm. Maybe she's making. She's in Silicon Valley.
It just seemed really out of place.
She's making some money. Even Michael even put the fur coat. Seemed like he was
the reddish one.
The reddish one seemed like he was a pimp. Pimps up, hoes down. Whatever case may be. That's what seemed like he was on that show. That's a movie. Hey, y'all check that out. Bishop Don Juan. But hey, he felt like he was a pimp. So he's chilling. Lindsay, but she was kind of cool. She was calm. She didn't get out of the gate. Steve and Noe didn't want to be around her. She does talk to Steve, kind of apologize.
Oh, that's the one thing. So when Lindsay comes in, basically she was like, I want to avoid Alyssa, not trying to fool with her. She didn't really say anything about Steve, but she was like, And she says, and I walk in, and who are the first two people I walk into? Who are the first two people I see? Steve, and Alyssa. Because the guys were cooking the food, but
Yeah.
and Alyssa came in the kitchen and was like, y'all need some help. You know, what can I help you do? And
She
when
don't let you
Lindsay
cook.
came in the kitchen, Steve and Alyssa like straight ignored her.
Mm-hmm.
They act like she wasn't even there.
She was Casper the Friendly Ghost.
And she was like, okay. Wow. So later on, we see Lindsay pull Steve aside, you know, to have a conversation.
And Steve, I mean, he took it. He listened to her. He really still don't trust her, but he listened to the conversation. And, you know, Lindsay basically apologized for him not being able to work and provide for their family support. Everybody does when you find out the dude actually got some bread.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We actually found out he really got a little bit of paper, so she apologized there. And so, see what else we want to talk about. Just, you know, Lindsay just she was different. She was calm with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually genuinely started having a good time, right? You know, like I said, we talked about Alyssa apologizing to Chris. They really nothing else that came out of it. Elijah and Katina, like I said, they're good. I mean, out of everybody, they're the best couple.
Steve and Noy, too.
Steve and Noy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at least Noy's coming around to what Steve wants. I can say what Steve wants her to do. They're coming around with each other, and they're getting on the same page. Lindsay's going to go to California and continue to build a better life for herself and hopefully find someone. Mark is going to continue to hopefully date Crystal and see where that goes.
Mm-hmm.
We know that Alyssa no longer with Ryan, so that didn't go anywhere. If you follow Instagram and social media, you realize that Chris is no longer with Olivia. Don't know what happened there. But
he wasn't actually with her.
Well,
They
yeah.
was just kind of dating.
They try to figure it out, but he had somebody else. Jasmine and Michael, not even the same ballpark. Not at all.
Which is sad.
It is sad. But again, it's better to be... What did the median say? They said that Michael will find somebody sooner than Jasmine, and Jasmine is going to wait about 5-6 years or whatever case may be before she finds somebody like Michael. So she's going to have to wait those years, if that's what you believe in. So we'll see there. Married at First Sight, where the now couples really enjoy themselves. They had the little cookout or the little dinner. They continue to build relationships with one another. And that's all we can say about the Boston. I am glad that this is over.
Yeah, me too.
I am glad that season 14 of Married at First Sight is over. That's where they are now. And so what are we going to do for the next couple of weeks? We're going to get our mind right for season 15 of Married at First Sight, San Diego. Let us know if you're excited about season 15 of Married at First Sight. I do personally think they're putting them back to back real quick.
I don't like it.
There should be a break in between because there's another episode coming on this week about something. I don't know, but it's not about the couples. It's whatever. It should be a break on Married at First Sight. But nonetheless, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell notification and let us know what you thought of this season of Married at First Sight. So.
And where are they now?
And where are they now, Boston? Again, thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. Thank y'all for joining us.
Thanks. Bye.